Hey yo, what's the deal? You know who it is. It's the Don. Yeah, Tony Teflon, House Teflon, Teflon 316. We pull the strings. Yeah. And I'm back at you again, once again, and this is my follow-up to Varys' major plots, master plan of Varys, and this is the second part of that and the final part of that. And basically, to know exactly what Varys left, we left off with Varys trying to put in there exactly what Varys is planning for Westeros and what he's trying to do. And we left off where we did, and we have to really bring in his partner in crime, Illyrio, to continue and flesh out this story exactly where Varys plans on taking the realm. Now, Illyrio is Varys' man. Now, it's like Varys, Illyrio is a liar. They've been hanging for a long time, so it's hard to exactly know what they're saying is the truth. So you have to try to figure it out yourself exactly what the truth is. So, what could be the plan of these two? Really, Varys' plan and Illyrio's plan. What, first, we have to see exactly how they met and why they're down with each other.
How is it that the spider became so dear to you? We were young together, two green boys in Pentos. Varys came from Mir. Yes, he did. I met him not long after he arrived, one step ahead of the slavers. By day he slept in the sewers, by night he prowled the rooftops like a cat. I was near as poor, a bravo in soiled silks, living by my blade. Perhaps you chanced to glimpse the statue by my pool. Pytho Melanon carved that when I was 6 and 10. A lovely thing, though now I weep to see it. Age makes ruins of us all. I'm still in mourning for my nose. But Varys, in Mir he was a prince of thieves, until a rival thief informed on him. In Pentos his accent marked him, and once he was known for a eunuch, he was despised and beaten. Why he chose me to protect him I may never know, but we came to an arrangement. Varys spied on lesser thieves and took their takings. I offered my help to their victims, promising to recover their valuables for a fee. Soon every man who had suffered a loss knew to come to me, while cities, footpads, and cut purses sought out Varys. Half to slit his throat, the other half to tell him what they had stolen. We both grew rich, and richer still when Varys trained his mice. In King's Landing, he kept little birds. Mice, we called them then. The older thieves were fools who thought no further than turning a night's plunder into wine. Varys preferred orphan boys and young girls. He chose the smallest, the ones who were quick and quiet, and taught them to climb walls and slip down chimneys. He taught them to read as well. We left the gold and gems for common thieves. Instead, our mice stole letters, ledgers, charts. Later, they would read them and leave them where they lay. Secrets are worth more than silver or sapphires, Varys claimed. Just so, I grew so respectable that a cousin of the Prince of Pentos let me wed his maiden daughter, whilst...
So we see that they have been down, they've been friends for a long time. And I've said this in the other video, so I'm not going to really get into it exactly what they did when they were younger. But you see here, he says that because of this, he was able to wed the Prince of Pentos' maiden daughter. So he was really a nobody. But what we see from is that he was definitely a skilled swordsman who is now kind of like what Robert became, just eating and drinking himself to the point where he's a fat piece of shit now. But he was an accomplished sellsword, and he helped Varys out back in the day. So by doing this, they developed this friendship. Now you can see that their plan and their skill was First, they started off taking out little gems. Then they realized, hey, fuck these gems, fuck this money. We're going to go after the big shit. And the big shit was secret. So they got their mice and they changed the name from the mice to birds and got all the secrets from them. And that is what rose their status. So from them doing that, how they became friends varies. Then after that went over to Ares and became down with Ares. Now you gotta remember, Varys was cool with Ares, and it was Tywin Lannister who sacked the city, and Varys tried to talk him not to open the gates, but the Grandmaster Pycelles overruled Varys and allowed that to happen. So you could think that Varys has a grudge against the Lannisters for doing this, for taking over the Targaryen dynasty from the beginning. So Illyrio, he planned to arrange a marriage. Now, always when I say Illyrio, always know that Illyrio and Varys are working together. So when I say one's name, think of Varys as there too. All right. So Illyrio, he planned to arrange a marriage between Daenerys Targaryen and Khal Drogo to use Drogo's Khalasar as an invasion force. He and his longtime friend Varys planned this, and with this army, they said Viserys could retake Westeros. Now, he even tells Viserys, trying to gas Viserys up, that people are over there in Westeros making banners about him and waiting for the day that he will come back and take the city. So then you have to say, why would Viserys, want this guy's help? Why would Illyrio? Because obviously we're talking right now that they don't know Illyrio and Varys are down. So now you gotta say, why would Viserys want this help from Illyrio? What would Illyrio have to gain from helping them out?
Well, as you will. The beggar king swore that I should be his master of coin, and a lordly lord as well. Once he wore his golden crown, I should have my choice of castles, even Casterly Rock, if I desire.
So basically, you have right there, you hear him say that he was promised from Viserys that he would be able to be a lord, and he would be able to go to take anything he wants, even Casterly Rock. Now, I do believe he's talking to Tyrion at this time when he does that. And I do believe he's just saying the Casterly Rock thing to get underneath Tyrion's skin a little bit, to test him. So that's why I think he says that. So at this time, he gives Daenerys away to Khal Drogo at the wedding. Illyrio does. And he gives her 3 petrified dragon eggs. Now, he doesn't expect that Daenerys would hatch them. He clearly does not think that. And I know people want to say that he did, but there's no way he could think that. He clearly doesn't think it because he doesn't think that Daenerys is going to survive this time when he's with Drogo.
Daenerys was half a child when she came to me, yet fairer even than my second wife. So lovely, I was tempted to claim her for myself. Such a fearful, furtive thing, however, I knew I should get no joy from coupling with her. Instead, I summoned a bed warmer and fucked her vigorously until the madness passed. If truth be told, I did not think Daenerys would survive for long amongst the Horse Lords.
So, if he thinks Daenerys is not going to survive, and then he must believe Viserys is going to lead Khal Drogo to Westeros. So, wouldn't Viserys be seen as a person causing unrest and a person bringing foreign forces to Westeros? So, if he really wanted that to be the case and he was trying to help him, why would he want to put him in that light? How does that really help Illyrio? And it doesn't help Illyrio, and it doesn't help Varys, and that was never the plan for them to do that at all.
Before the princess wed, he tried to steal into her bed, insisting that if he could not have her hand, he would claim her maidenhead. Had I not taken the precaution posting guards upon her door, Viserys might have undone years of planning.
So right there, we hear that Viserys wants to have sex with his sister like these Targaryens like to do. And he has to put guards outside the door to prevent that from happening. And you can hear, and this is why I like listening to audiobooks, because when you listen to audiobooks, you can hear it the way George R. R. Martin intended it for you to read it. You can hear the emotion put in it. So you hear him say years of planning he would have messed up if he would have did that. So years of planning. How is that possible? Viserys and Daenerys only stayed with him 6 months before she got wed. So that plan of her getting wed only took about 6 months. So what is he really talking about? Because there's no way that could have took years of planning. Well, Tyrion himself, he does not buy it either. And that is the reason why he starts to question Illyrio.
Tell me, Tyrion said as he drank, why should a Magister of Pentos give 3 figs who wears the crown in Westeros? Where is the gain for you in this venture, my lord? The fat man dabbed grease from his lips. I am an old man, grown weary of this world and its treacheries. Is it so strange that I should wish to do some good before my days are done, to help a sweet young girl regain her birthright?
So he's just trying to help a young girl get her throne back. But that still doesn't explain the years of planning. So let's look at this. Dany is loved by the Dothraki, and Viserys is killed by them. It seems that the opposite of what he thought would happen did happen. Since the birth of the dragons, Dany has overthrown every slave city she's come across, which is something that goes against Illyrio's lifestyle, and Tyrion does point that out to him.
Said there are 5 slaves for every 3 men in Volantis. Why would the Triarchs assist a queen who smashed the slave trade? He pointed at Illyrio. For that matter, why would you? Slavery may be forbidden by the laws of Pentos, yet you have a finger in that trade as well, and maybe a whole hand. And yet you can...
So he says that to him, and you see Tyrion points it out. Why would you want to do that? So Illyrio, still talking, says to Tyrion, this is the reason why I want to help Daenerys out. So he didn't believe the first story he gave him, so now he gives him the second story.
Said there are 5 slaves for every 3 men in Volantis. Why would the Triarchs assist a queen who smashed the slave trade? He pointed at Illyrio. For that matter, why would you? Slavery may be forbidden by the laws of Pentos, yet you have a finger in that trade as well, and maybe a whole hand. And yet you conspire for the Dragon Queen and not against her. Why? What do you hope to gain from Queen Daenerys? Oh, are we back to that again? You are a persistent little man. Illyrio gave a laugh and slapped his belly. Well, as you will. The beggar king swore that I should be his master of coin, and a lordly lord as well.
So once again, he points out that he wants to be master of coin. Why would he want to be master of coin? A position looked down upon by the higher lords of Westeros. So what does it mean for him to be that? Well, what it means is that it puts him on the small council, right? So the small council is where Varys lies, and that is Littlefinger's position. So he would basically remove Littlefinger and put himself in there. And why would he want to be on the small council again? Why is this important? And then why does he need to be in Westeros? And at this time is when being questioned so much is why Illyrio puts out what the true plan of him and Varys truly is.
Are your 7 kingdoms so different? There is no peace in Westeros, no justice, no faith, and soon enough, no food. When men are starving and sick of fear, they look for a savior. They may look, but if all they find is Stannis, not Stannis, nor Myrcella, the yellow smile widened. Another, stronger than Tommen, gentler than Stannis, with a better claim than the girl Myrcella. A savior come from across the sea to bind up the wounds of bleeding Westeros. Fine words. Tyrion was unimpressed. Words are wind. Who is this bloody savior? A dragon. The chief.
A dragon. To sit, so the plan really is to sit someone other than Dany or Viserys on the throne. Someone who is stronger than Tommen, gentler than Stannis, and has a better claim than Marcellus. Now, who is this person? And how do they plan on putting him there? Excuse me. Well, they just said it. They need Westeros to be in a certain state. It has to be in no peace, no justice, no faith, no fear, no food, and then when they're sick of fear. When all these are happening, Westeros will be looking for a savior. So they have to accomplish all that for Westeros to be looking for this savior. No peace. Let's go through them all. No peace. Well, we see how he planned on doing that. If Drogo would have gone to Westeros, he would have caused unrest, and then when the lords hid in their castles, they would have enslaved Drogo and then would have enslaved everyone else. That would have been their plan. But that kind of fell through. So they had the War of the Five Kings, and that has been useful instead of using the Drogo plan. It just happened a little faster than they thought. No justice. Well, we see several acts of no justice by the Lannisters. Ned Stark's beheading, the Red Wedding, Cersei having the puppet show people captured, money taken for no reason, taxes raised. All this, no justice, is at the hands of the Lannisters. And no faith. How would they make the people think the crown has given up faith? Well, it goes, and this also goes to fear when you deal with Illyrio. And you know Illyrio is known to hire people, and Varys is known to hire people. And they need to hire people to smash the faith to make the people believe the Lannisters have lost their faith. Who could they hire to do these things? And if you look into the books, I can only see one people and one group that they did hire to do this. And that is the Brave Companions, also known as the Bloody Mummers. And anytime you hear mummer, you have to think Varys. That he is the known mummer in Westeros. These are the Bloody Mummers. And it's said that Lord Tywin Lannister brought the Brave Companions to Westeros during the War of the Five Kings to terrify the lands of his enemies. So that was his intention. Alright? One particular group led by Rogue burned and slaughtered the entire town of the Salt Pans. Because Rogue wore the helmet of Sandor Clegane, the deeds were attributed to the Hounds, giving the Lannisters more blame. Qyburn studied at the Citadel and was as skilled as a healer as Maester Ambrose. Now Qyburn thought to suppress him, and instead of opening the bodies of the dead to discover the secrets of the living as the Citadel had done for centuries, Qyburn instead opened the bodies of the still living to discover the secrets of death. When this was discovered, Qyburn was stripped from his position as a maester for unethical experiments he performed on living humans. He then links up with this group. After Vargo gets mad that his 2 people are killed, he then flips on Tywin for Bolton. Then he sees that Bolton is going to join up with Tywin, so he chops off Jaime's hand, trying to drive a wedge in between them. Qyburn then uses this opportunity to heal Jaime and gain more trust for the Lannisters, eventually becoming Master of Whisperers and for Cersei and making Sir Robert strong, which is what I believe is the ultimate disbelief of faith that they will have when he is exposed to be the undead creature that he is. Now, another group led by Vargo Hope, who is the leader of the Brave Companions, are also sacking Seps. They're burning them down. And the plan seems to be working because Brienne runs into a man who says these bones of holy men who were murdered for their faith, which leads to the Sparrow movement and the High Sparrow taking over. So Varys and Illyrio have gotten their faith thing under control by bringing the Brave Companions in to do all this and to make it look like the Lannisters have done it, so that it looks like the crown has no faith. Now you gotta understand, Vargo Hope is from Quorth, Quohor, Quorth, right? And understanding this is how you could kind of tie it together. Now Quorth used the Unsullied to fight off the Dothraki, and then ever since they used the Unsullied to protect them. Illyrio says he got his Unsullied who protects him from Quorth. Now, shortly after being created, the Golden Company sacked Quorth after Quorth refused to honor the contract it made with the Golden Company. This event established the reputation of the Golden Company.
Company was reputedly the finest of the free companies, founded a century ago by Bitter Steel, a bastard son of Aegon the Unworthy. When another of Aegon's great bastards tried to seize the Iron Throne from his true-born half-brother, Bitter Steel joined the revolt. Daemon Blackfyre had perished on the red grass field, however, and his rebellion with him. Those followers of the Black Dragon who survived the battle, yet refused to bend the knee, fled across the narrow sea. Among them, Daemon's younger sons, Bitter Steel, and hundreds of landless lords and knights who soon found themselves forced to sell their swords to eat. Some joined the Ragged Standard, some the Second Sons, or Maiden's Men. Bitter Steel saw the strength of House Blackfyre scattering to the four winds, so he formed the Golden Company to bind the exiles together. From that day...
So, Bitter Steel seen House Blackfyre getting totally all over the place. They're just going anywhere they want to go. So he formed the Golden Company to make sure that the House Blackfyre stayed together. That was his plan doing it. So the Golden Company are expensive. And so why would they be fighting for Illyrio? They're the most reputed company out there. And Tyrion points this out to him.
Waggled his fat fingers. Some contracts are rich in ink, and some in blood. I say.
So he says some contracts are rich in ink, and some are blood. So he's not even paying these guys. All right, no money. This is the most reputed company there is, and he's not paying them anything. So why would they do that? Is it for the ink? No. It has to be for the blood. All right? So they're fighting for blood, which can only mean they're fighting for Blackfyre blood. That's the only blood they will care about. That's what I would think.
Illyrio brushed away the objection as if it were a fly. Black or red, a dragon is still a dragon. When Malys, the monstrous, died upon the stepstones, it was the end of the male line of House Blackfyre.
So he says right there, the male line of Blackfyre was destroyed. So why would he say that specifically, that the male line was taken out of the Blackfyre? Why would he point that out? And the only way I could say why he would point that out is you have to look at Illyrio's second wife, Serra.
Illyrio thrust his right hand up his left sleeve and drew out a silver locket. Inside was a painted likeness of a woman with big blue eyes and pale golden hair streaked by silver. Serra. I found her in a Lysene pillowhouse and brought her home to warm my bed. But in the end, I wed her. Me, whose first wife had been a cousin of the Prince of Pentos. The palace gates were closed to me thereafter, but I did not care. The price was small enough for Serra. How did she die? Tyrion knew that she was dead. No man spoke so fondly of a woman who had abandoned him. A Braavosi trading galley called at Pentos on her way back from the Jade Sea. The treasure carried clothes and saffron, jet and jade, scarlet, samite, green silk, and the grey death. We slew her oarsmen as they came ashore and burned the ship at anchor, but the rats crept down the oars and paddled to the quay on cold stone feet. The plague took 2,000 before it ran its course. Magister Illyrio closed the locket. I keep her hands in my bedchamber. Her hands that were so soft. Tyrion thought of Tysha.
So, what we see here is that this man's wife has big blue eyes with silver streaks in gold hair. This woman took him to the point where that he was willing to give up all royal connections to be with this woman, who's supposedly supposed to be a nothing, right? But if you look at her look, how could you see that she's nothing? So, what does she have that we can put it into anybody else? We have to go to the person that they have planned on putting on the throne, and that is Griff. And if you listen to the description of Griff and match it up with the description of Serra.
Like his sire, young Griff had blue eyes, but where the father's eyes were pale, the son's were dark. By lamplight they turned black, and in the light of dusk they seemed purple. His eyelashes were as long as any woman's. I smell bacon.
So do I. So, we have this kid, young Griff, who has eyes kind of like Serra, who they claim to be Aegon, obviously. I do not believe that is Aegon. I believe Griff is Illyrio and Serra's kid, who they plan to take the city back from Khal Drogo. But since that fell through, they plan on wedding him to Dany. That is Varys' master plan. And why do I think Aegon is a black fry? Why would I think that? Well, the mountain says, for one, that when he's about to die and he's about to kill Oberyn, the mountain says to him, I killed that little whelp. And that makes me think when he says whelp that he's talking about a boy. So I believe that he killed Aegon. And at this time, he has no reason to lie at all. Also, Dany's vision, it says, beware the mummer's dragon. I don't think it means mummer. As I said, every time you think of mummer, you should think of Varys. So I don't think it means fake dragon like that. I think it means Varys' dragon. And that's who Varys' dragon is, young Griff, who is Aegon. And the last clue I will give you is this right here, why I believe Aegon is a black fry.
Perhaps take their minds off the grisly sentinels along the roadside. The old inn, some call it. There's been an inn there for many hundreds of years, though this inn was only raised during the reign of the first Jaehaerys, the king who built the King's Road. Jaehaerys and his queen sat there during their journeys, it is said. For a time, the inn was known as the Two Crowns in their honor. until one innkeep built a bell tower and changed it to the Bell Ringer Inn. Later it passed to a crippled knight named Long John Heddle, who took up ironworking when he grew too old to fight. He forged a new sign for the yard, a three-headed dragon of black iron that he hung from a wooden post. The beast was so big it had to be made in a dozen pieces joined with rope and wire. When the wind blew, it would clank and clatter, so the inn became known far and wide as the Clanking Dragon. Is the dragon sign still there? Asked Podrick. No, said Septon Merrybold. When the smith's son was an old man, a bastard son of the fourth Aegon rose up in rebellion against his true-born brother, and took for his sigil a black dragon. These lands belonged to Lord Darry then, and his lordship was fiercely loyal to the king. The sight of the black iron dragon made him wroth, so he cut down the post, hacked the side to pieces, and cast them into the river. One of the dragon's heads washed up on the quiet isle many years later, though by that time it was red with rust. The innkeeper.
And that story right there, I think, is exactly what is happening right now. You have the innkeepers throwing the black dragon symbol, all three heads, into the water, and coming back one head as a red dragon. But obviously it was originally a black dragon, now coming back claiming to be a red dragon. And that is Aegon, who is really a black fry. So he does have Targaryen blood, but he's not from that side of the Targaryens. And that is the reason why the Golden Company is with Jon Connington. Now, I can go into all that Jon Connington and everything else, but I cannot do that at this particular time because I'm just focusing strictly on Varys' plan. And that is what I think his plan has been, and I think that's how he plans on concluding this whole thing. So I'm gonna wrap this up right now. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I got a couple of more things in work I'm trying to work on. I was doing the one thing with the faceless men, but now I don't even know if I'm gonna do it. Maybe because I announced that I was gonna do it, and as soon as I announced I was gonna do it, I got people putting comment. Well, I'm not gonna say a lot of people, but specifically a few people putting comments of everything that they know about the faceless men on the Varys page. And what sense is that? So if you know everything about it, I guess it makes no sense for me to do it. So I'll think of something else to do instead, since those people already know everything. I don't need to do it. And I'll get back at you when I can. As always, I would like to thank any subscriber that has just joined this, and anyone who has rolled with me, especially the people who have rolled with me from the beginning. Thank you. I really do appreciate you just taking the time out of your day and watching this. And please tell your friends about me. Please like it, one up it, uh, put it on your Twitter, on your Facebook, share this, and we can get these views up on any of Game of Thrones fan page or whatever. I'm trying to get the views up. I need some more subscribers so we can keep rising, baby. That's what we're trying to do. And as always, the more I rise, the more views I get, the more quick I put the videos out. So I'll probably be going for until I see maybe this video hit like 1,000 views or something. If it hits that, which I think it should do, I got 1,000 subscribers, so I should get at least 1,000 views. I do that, then I will post the next video. Please submit all your questions, because I'm thinking about doing a question and answers video and taking care of that. So I'm out of here, and as always, if you need anything or you want anything or you need to learn anything about this or want to know what I know or what I think, just put it in the comments, and I'll definitely answer all comments that are not stupid and not disrespectful. Alright? And let's just keep that going. So as always, it's the Don Cheer, Tony Teflon, House Teflon, Teflon 316. We pull the strings. Peace. The chairman of the board, the people's champ, and the sexiest woman. We out.